welcome to another interview for Millionairess magazine and the Millionairess movement. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson, Editor-in-Chief, and today I am delighted to be joined by the lovely Patti Stanger. Patti is an American businesswoman, an actress, producer, and author of many books, including Become Your Own Matchmaker, and she's a reality TV personality. Patti is best known for starring in and producing her own matchmaking reality series, The Millionaire Matchmaker, on Bravo TV. She is the founder and CEO of Millionaires Club International Inc., a professional matchmaking service for millionaires, and now graces the cover of this month's issue of the Millionairess magazine. Patti is well known for calling it as she sees it. I love that part. And she has guided hundreds and hundreds of people on their journey of self-discovery with her straight talk. She gives you the facts without the candy coating. Her multitude of platforms, from Patti Knows to her leading podcast, The Millionaire Matchmaker Love Report, she covers everything from how to dress to how to reach your relationship goals, leaving with little doubt that Patti knows what it takes to get your love life on track. Welcome, Patti. We cannot wait to share in your wisdom. No doubt you've got plenty to share with us today. We so appreciate you being part of the Millionairess magazine.
Appreciate it.
That is a gorgeous intro. So tell us, Patti, how did your journey to where you are right now actually begin?
I think it began from birth, to be honest with you. I was adopted, and my mom was like, you know, if you put the S in sizzle, that was my mom. She could get a man 10 paces away. She was a blonde bombshell. Men loved her. You know, she didn't always pick good, but she was a blonde bombshell that could get men. And I was the opposite. I was the brunette. The entire family, my whole family, as much as they're Jewish, they're all like blondes with frosted hair, kind of like your hair color. Yeah.
Really?
I'm the brunette. I'm the Cher with a million Christy Brinkley's, you know, it was that kind of a thing. And so I like didn't understand like why the boy that I didn't like didn't have a crush on me or blah, blah. You know, my mother would be like, you talk too much, you give too much away. Like her and my grandmother would train me, and they were matchmakers. I swore I'd never be a matchmaker too. That was another weird thing. I swore I would never do it, ever, 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 ever. I wanted to only be in the film business, go to film school, which I did. And I was partly in fashion before that. So I don't know. It just like the universe kind of yielded me in that direction. And then boom, I had a TV show, basically.
So This is generational, this matchmaking.
Yes.
Calling that you obviously have is generational. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. My grandmother was really good. She fixed my mother up on her first date, and that was her husband. My grandmother had a track record like no other. Now, in the 70s, when people were getting divorced, you know, it was more the norm. So the rabbis and the local friends and family and the community would ask my parents and my grandmother to fix them up. But in 1963 or 4, my mother got divorced. Her husband cheated on her. Scandal City, could be a soap opera. And it was a real scandalous story. They were the story of a couple of the neighborhood in Jersey. And my mom wanted to leave him, and he wouldn't let her. It was very similar to Mrs. Maisel. It was exactly the story of Mrs. Maisel. And my mom's like, no, you cheated. You walked down on me. Screw you. And she caught him with his pants down, took him for everything, and said, I'm going to go and find a different man. And literally 3 weeks later, she meets the second man who becomes my father. He raised me. And she's married again. She was married 3 times, though. Yeah, when the men don't perform anymore, my mom's like, next. My mother believed that a man comes every 10 minutes, just like a bus.
Yes.
You just got to know which bus to get on.
What an attitude. I love your mom. I love that. So she's as famous as you, is she?
She was famous in her own right. She was a lady who lunched, although my father kept losing his money. And so there was always times like my mom had to pull her bootstraps up, and she sold stuff from the home, like sweaters and jewelry and purses. And she always made sure we had enough, like to go to camp, to go to college. It was up and down. My dad was not an easy man. He was an alcoholic. So there was a lot of trouble there. So I didn't have this, you know, unscathed childhood. Like I want to tell people, if you're a businesswoman, most of the reason you're successful is because your father was absent if you're a woman, okay? And you realized the model that they showed you might have worked for them, but it didn't work for you. And you're not going to be like that. And you're going to go out and earn your own money. So every week, my father would give my mother cash. That was the cash days. You know, there was no credit cards. And she'd have enough money to go to the grocery store, pay the maid, the housekeeper, and then also to buy clothes, go to Loehmann's. Loehmann's was this discount store that anybody from New York will know what I'm talking about. It was fabulous. And they had one in Jersey. So she would go there and sneak in her bags, just like we do, you know, when you don't want your husband or boyfriend knowing you bought XYZ. Now we have to sneak in our Amazon boxes. That's a whole other story.
True.
And she snuck in the bags, and she snuck in this, and then he made bad financial decisions, and which was ridiculous. He was making so much money, and then he just went in the wrong direction, and it happens. So the money starts to dwindle, and we don't get our extras. And I looked at my mother, and I go, get a job. You went to college. You're brilliant. She didn't want to work. So she did odds and ends on the side. And it was kind of, if you went to work in those days, you were frowned on, which I can't get around unless you were, you know, destitute in the streets. You just didn't work, because we lived in a very wealthy neighborhood called Short Hills, New Jersey. And so I made a decision in that moment that I was never going to be financially dependent on a man. I was going to have my own money, and nobody was going to tell me I can't buy that piece of jewelry or that dress. And that's how it all began. I made your childhood decisions define your trajectory in life, financially, as well as relationship-wise. Where are you going to end up?
I couldn't agree more.
A lot of therapy. That's like what I counsel and I coach people on relationships. Even if they're not in a relationship, or they are, I counsel them. And I always find there's this path that happened very early on in childhood, which kind of set up where you are today. And that has a lot to do with business as well.
Couldn't agree more. I had parents upbringing in business, told money doesn't grow on trees, and you had to work hard. And so I always wanted my own money since I was a child. I wanted to be a millionaire, even though I didn't even know what it meant. And I've always been in business. I've had 14 businesses. I was the same. I guess your voids become your values, right?
Right. And the truth of the matter is, when I became a millionaire in my 30s, millionairess in my 30s, I didn't know I was. It was during a very exciting time in America. Clinton was president.
Yep.
The internet just went up. Money was growing on trees during this period, you know, and millionaires were coming to me on the deal going, I'm getting divorced. Here's some, you know, 20,000, here's 50,000. Can you fix me up? And I was putting it in the bank, and then the bank calls you and says, you might want to invest your money and make some money off of it. Like, it was that kind of a thing, because women aren't taught finances. We're just not, you'll marry well, he'll take care of you, and that's not happening anymore. Now you're an Instagram influencer, and you're making your own money. And I watch these girls, they're fabulous from their homes on YouTube, and I might watch the beauty ones. I can watch makeup beauty tutorials till the cows come home. My fantasy is to have my own makeup line to do makeovers on people. And so I watch these YouTube girls, and they all started from their homes, and they're trying different products. Toddy Westbrook's my favorite one on YouTube. And I'm amazed at how successful these women have become, because you sit there and you go, they're not Rihanna, they're not Beyonce. You wouldn't know the girl's name, but YouTube does, by the followers. And a lot of them are from Australia, by the way. A lot of influencers from Australia. So you see this and you go, anybody can be an entrepreneur, multimillionaire today.
So for those of you watching this and reading this, listening to this, please take that down. And I agree, there is no excuse. If you have a goal, you have a dream, for any entrepreneurial woman, there's no excuse. So Patti, for those who really don't know you, even though I don't know who wouldn't know you, but share with us, you know, about Matchmaker and why it is a great way to meet a partner, because so many women have gone through their first divorce now.
Yes, correct.
Their late 30s, 40s.
So Millionaires Club caters globally around the globe. We do women, men, we do non-millionaire, we do non-millionaire men and women, and we also do gay. And we do fluid. Right now, fluid is the new thing. But we do lesbians and homosexuals. And I'm trying to get into the transgender market. It's a little bit more dicier. I've wanted to put it on Millionaire Matchmaker forever. So I was like, early on, we were the first people to put gay on the map in the television show. And so I fix up anyone. Love is love. Yep. I don't do an animal and a person, but I do people. Okay. Like, let's not get crazy here. Okay. So basically what it means is that what you are looking for, we fix you up with. Now, millionaires come in, they pay. So millionaires mean men and women, gay, straight, doesn't matter. And then non-millionaires register on millionairesclub123.com. And you could register right now, it's free. And then millionaires use me like a therapist slash broker. It's like finding a house for you, only I'm finding the perfect girl or guy for you. And I'm also date coaching you and relationship counseling you. So if you've got residue from your past loves, like for instance, you're still hung up on your ex, you basically, you know, never had love. I have, for the first time, I have an Australian this week. She is a virgin, 22-year-old virgin, doesn't want to have sex until she's married, and non-religious. Call me crazy, not too far from you, just where you live. And, you know, I don't judge. I don't say, well, she doesn't seem to have a strong sex drive. She is beautiful. And there is unusual circumstances that I deal with everybody, from religious to logistical situations. I have people that live in the woods in Vancouver and they can't meet anyone because there's no women around them. And I have to like send them up there, which now we're debating how we're going to do that. And, you know, should he go to Washington State and take the ferry? Like, there's all these things because right now we're in quarantine. So what's happening now is people are dating online. And what I do is I either help you get online and we fix your profiles and we teach you how to take better pictures and put the better clothes on, men or women, or you date in my club. And there's another division, which is strictly video dating. So you could just video date and then decide later if you want to meet versus in person. And everybody is a different person. No two people are like, I say, they're like snowflakes. Okay. So I don't sit there and go, this is the one way, that's the one way. I do believe in no sex before monogamy. If you want to get married, that's a difference. Like, they didn't really understand that. They said no sex before monogamy. I'm like, no sex before monogamy if you want to get married within a year, because then the men, and by the way, men do this too now, and a lot of the gay culture does that. They're like, I'm not having sex, because they're used to having culturally have sex on the first date like gay men, and now gay men are coming and saying, you know what, I'm doing no sex before monogamy because I want a deeper connection. So now's the time. So there is no sex, right, before monogamy now because we're in quarantine. Little interesting, right? So now you can have a deeper connection. And what we're finding out is singles are getting deeper, disarmoring themselves, opening up themselves, sharing their intimate secrets with people, taking a date and making plans every single week at a specific time. And the man sends the Uber Eats, or they play a game, or they watch Netflix on the Chrome thing where they can watch Netflix Party. They're doing really creative things right now. And a lot of people are getting into these exclusive relationships without touching, tasting, feeling sex.
Patti, I believe that would be a real relief for so many people who get so wound up and freaked out thinking, oh my God, I've got to have sex. I don't even know this guy. That would be a beautiful way, though, of getting to know someone without feeling that anxiety of the first date, wouldn't it?
Yes.
It's got many benefits.
It's not just for women. Let's not put this all on the women, because there are men that go, whoa.
For both.
I've had really looking quality guys. Like dropped it. We're talking on a scale of Brad Pitt, and they'll say to me, I always move too fast.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should change your direction. I want to slow down. I want to get to know someone before I have sex. I want to know if this person's right, because my last 2 marriages blew apart because that person and I hit it to quit it on the first date. Next thing I know, I was married in 3 weeks. I can't do that anymore. Crash and burn doesn't work for me. Yes. So I say, okay, let's try an experiment. So experimenting is the key. What feels right to you, and follow that direction. Now, if you do feel great on a first date and you have sex, I've seen people married for 30 years. But the problem is that is not the absolute. That is the opposite of the basic rules. You've broken the rules in one way, and you are like the 2% that actually found love on a first date and had sex because you were drunk, likely. Most likely you're drunk. You're uninhibited, because who's going to have sex on the first date when they're not feeling loosey-goosey, right? It's kind of crazy, right? So now they have to connect. There's no other way. And I've never seen men on such better behavior than they've been. Like, they'll make a date, like on Tuesday at 2:00, we have a lunch date, right? Okay, great. Don't forget to turn your phone on. And then he's there at 1:56 waiting for the Zoom. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting how this is turning out.
I love it because you're putting up all these hurdles, but it's making people want it even more because it's not so accessible now. So they're giving a bit more effort and energy, which leads to my next question for you, Gorgeous, because what I'm hearing here is that you're a psychologist. You're teaching us how to dress, men or women, it doesn't matter. You're teaching us how to behave, how to turn up as our best selves, how to present ourselves and take the friggin' time and energy.
Right. So the point I'm making is that is one side of the street. Then we have couples. You're dating someone and he's pressuring you to move in with him in quarantine. You're living in quarantine with somebody you just dated maybe 2 months ago and you were lonely and you decided to quarantine together. Or you're married for 30 years and you're going to kill him. And I'm calling the lawyer because marriage is down right now in quarantine. We heard a TMZ report, which I just did a story with TMZ, where they said the decline of marriage is so bad right now in quarantine because they're not getting along, especially if you live in small spaces. Like you're in New York in a studio, you're going to be screwed, right? So they said that they've been calling the lawyers, you know, Laura Wasser must be really busy right now with a lot of celebrities. They've been calling the lawyers to break up so that by the time quarantine's over, they're divorced. And there are really weird situations going on. You've got kids, your husband doesn't work anymore. Maybe you were the primary caregiver. You stayed at home, you raised the kids. Now he's sitting on the couch, eating bonbons, not walking the dog, not taking the garbage out. He thinks you're there to serve his every need. And no matter how many times you tell him, please help me, he doesn't hear it. He doesn't even homeschool the kids. So there's all this going on. How can I basically take these two people together and fix what is broken, remember when they first fell in love, and ignite the sexual fire and passion that brought them together in the first place? That is another one. And then there's the cheaters. The cheating is really big right now. You'd think, how could cheating be big? There's an emotional love tank that fills up when you get off going into the bathroom and getting on the apps and hooking up with some girl that doesn't know you're married or in a relationship, and you're cheating. And the same thing for the women. Women cheat more than men. They just don't talk about it. You know, they're embarrassed. They're shameful. Where men love to boast. So there's those things. Can I fix a cheating relationship and get them back on track? So we've been busy. You know,
I was just going to say this. You've been a busy lady.
I mean, I thought I was going to take a friggin' vacation, and I was like, Jesus, okay, like I get her off, right? No. And what happens is you get these hysterical phone calls and you get the people, I'm lonely. I'm all by myself. I'm by myself in quarantine. I'm single right now. So you're by yourself in quarantine and you're like, okay, well, how am I going to meet anyone? And will sex ever come back? My friend who's also quarantining at the same time as me, she lives down the street. She called me up and she said to me, is sex over? Is kissing dead? Will we ever make love again? My ex-boyfriend is calling me to have sex with him, which I said no. But you're getting exes calling you because you figure, she's alone in quarantine. I'm alone. He's in Vegas, my ex, and wants to fly out or actually drive out to see me. And I said, no, I'm ready for a new relationship. So you get these people that are reaching out to their exes because they think they're clean, right? Clean. And they can, hit it to quit it. It's kind of an interesting time. It's very upside down. We have a lot of time on our hands. Majority of our country is not working. They're trying to think, can I do a new business? So I counsel people on, that's the other side of the street. So we do business coaching. We get you a book deal. We get you an agent. We teach you how to get a reality show on the air. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to take someone who's got a raw idea. Right now I'm working with 2 major celebrities and I'm teaching them how to get their YouTube channels up so they can actually get sponsorship, 2 cooking shows, because I like to cook on YouTube. So what we do is we take someone and we teach them, is the product good? Does it need to be refined? Does the packaging need to change? Does the shipping, all this stuff? And then how are you going to make it in this market in quarantine? And there are 10 major things that people are buying right now that are going out of style. You'll see skincare shelves gone. Everybody wants to anti-age because they're losing their injections, right?
Yes.
Can't get the face. Okay. You see pajamas, slippers, you see things like that to make you cozy, sweatsuits flying off the shelves. I went to 2 sites today and they were sold out of my size. Okay. Then you see cooking. I mean, everyone is baking. Flour is unheard of in our country. You can't get flour in the house. Right. So they're baking. They're buying cookware online. They're redoing their cabinets. I just redid my pantry. I'm buying all the organizational stuff. They're cleaning out their closets, you know? So there's all this stuff that people are doing, their hobbies, their gardening, their painting, whatever it is. And then you say, what would people buy in a time like this? There are those who are making a fortune. Look at the toilet paper companies. Can't get toilet paper. Right?
You have that problem too?
Or the Clorox. I mean, Clorox is out till June. I don't know if you have Clorox there. It's like ammonia to clean the, you know, it's like disinfectant.
Yep.
You know, Clorox, the bleach. So it's like sold out everywhere. So you go, oh, if I invented something like this, it'd make a fortune. So there are those who have products and they didn't know how to market it. And we try to teach them how to do it in this crazy climate time because someone's going to make money.
Well, Patti, you haven't got time to do anything but serve your people. There's no time.
I have a staff, you know, let's be real. I have a full staff.
Yeah.
They work not, you know, a good portion of the day. We work 7 days a week. We have different shifts and we accommodate the client. So when the client comes in, I accommodate them. I have a full service web operation that makes the websites and, you know, designs and does social media for them and designs all the products and helps them with packaging and stuff like that. So there is that too. You know, I don't do it all. I have a company. So, but then you can request me and then based on my availability, I'm there for you. Yeah.
So Patti, the entrepreneurial woman sitting at home, okay, we'll use COVID as an example.
Okay.
Would you be able to give them, you know, some advice on how to meet a partner right now? You know, how could they show up? What would you say to a woman?
Well, I mean, right now we got to use video dating. We don't have a choice. But here's the thing. You don't have to only use the apps. You can use Instagram. You can use Facebook. You can use LinkedIn. If you see someone cute on LinkedIn, you can actually, you know, use a little like, hey, I was looking at your company and, you know, I was just wondering, do you service this area that I live in? And then start talking. Oh, are you married? Are you single? Like, and then start to get the 911 on that, right? So you don't always have to use a straightforward dating app. I think some of the best men are not online. And now we can't meet anyone. But I asked a question yesterday because my assistant grocery shops for me. And I said, can you flirt at the grocery store? And she goes, I don't know how you would do it. You know, you're behind each other. I said, yeah, but he goes, we got the mask on. You only see the eyes. I said, the eyes are the mirror of the soul. I said, could you flirt? And he said, he never sees anyone flirt in the grocery line. Maybe it's time, girls. We start flirting. Put a t-shirt on, say, flirt with me.
What about somebody who hasn't dated for years?
You have to realize the guy's going to come right up to you. If you have a t-shirt that says love to flirt or flirt with me, a guy's going to go, where'd you get that t-shirt from? And that's going to be icebreaker. You need an icebreaker because right now you're covered up and you can't really talk. And you want the guy to make that first move. And the drugstore are the first place of in-person line of defense. Maybe the gas station, but everybody's not driving that much. Can you do it at the beach? Yes, you could do it at the beach in your bikini with your mask on. But there are ways around this, and I'm going to give some secrets. If you live in a place that you can paddleboard, or you can surf like we have in California, you can meet someone. If you swim in the ocean, you're gonna meet someone. Just make sure there's no great whites in Australia. We have them here, so I know that. So, but you can do active sports, tennis, things like that, where you can meet someone because a lot of men have downtime. So the first thing that opened up in California was the golf courses. There's more men than women at a golf course. Go to the golf course. And that's in person.
I'm a couple of years younger than you, but you know, when we were growing up, we didn't have the internet or anything like that.
Right. Nothing.
I got into sport. That's how I met guys. I became a triathlete just to meet guys, and I grew up in sport my whole life. So I'm a little bit old school, probably like yourself. You know, I've noticed in time that some people let down they show up as they are. They sort of don't take care of their appearance and things like that. And they go, well, you know, if they don't like me as I am, well, they don't like me at all. What would you say about that? And what advice would you give to women and guys showing up for a date?
Well, okay. So first of all, it depends what type of guy you like. So if you alpha versus a beta, then you're going to have to be a little bit more submissive to him. And that's okay, because that means you can relax. You don't have to try so hard. People that get in an alpha space, the alpha is repulsed by it. He is the hunter that wants to catch the Bambi in the woods. So you've got to be that girl that, like, just, you know, every 3 questions you ask one. And kind of take your tone down. Like, okay, so here I am, business mode. I'm talking like this. Hi, so excited to be on the magazine. Oh my God, let me talk to you. Blah, blah, blah. See how I'm doing? That's high energy. That's business. I'm selling, selling, selling. But when I take my tone and my octave down, and I start to go still, and now I'm like, tell me about your job. What do you do? Like that.
Beautiful.
He now sees that you've invited him to your party, and now he wants to get to know you. And if he doesn't ask you questions from that point of view, he's just a narcissist. Get rid of him. That's the way to tell a narcissist. Narcissist doesn't ask any questions about you, only talks about him. Okay? Now, if you are an alpha woman and you like being here, calling the shots, making the reservations, paying the bills, then you're looking for a beta man who's very gentle and soft, who's going to rub your feet when you get home from work, make your coffee in the morning. Maybe he doesn't have as much business drive as you and doesn't make as much money as you, and you're going to pay more of the bills, but you love the way he makes love. You love the way he's doting on you. He's rubbing your shoulders. The secret sauce is to land in the middle, the alpha beta. How do you find that? And what alpha beta means is that you're going to switch. I might be the alpha in booking the travel, right? But when we get to the hotel, he takes over, he's the alpha. You see what I'm saying? So everybody has their role. Maybe he's the alpha at work and he's the beta at home, which is kind of what I am. I'm alpha at work and I'm beta at home. So you now have to negotiate your terms of how you want to see it. And you'll know in the beginning, because who makes the plans for the date? You don't know this person. Who's initiating? Who's calling more than the other person? Then you know who's the alpha and the beta. And once you know that, you can set up the dynamic of what type of relationship you want from this person. And is this person that you're dating right for you? Because what we found out statistically is women were conditioned to give so much and ignore their own needs. And we're in a time where we live in a pretty selfish time right now, right? Let's be real. It's Instagram, influencer city. It's all about me. So now you're in this place where you don't want to go too far off the grid, where you get so selfish, no man is going to want you or no woman's going to want you. But what you want to do is look inside yourself and say, what feels right? What feels comfortable? If you're going towards something negative, that means you were conditioned from childhood to have that negative experience. So if your dad was a yeller and you always pick men that yell, it's a sign to say, next guy's not going to yell. I'm not going to pick him. And when he yells, I'm going to leave because this is dangerous to my welfare. But if you don't do that, you naturally, the brain is conditioned to go to something that's familiar. Oh, I always get alcoholics. I always get cheap men. See what I'm saying? So we want to make sure you recondition. And the younger you are, the more like you're in your teens or your 20s, your 30s, before you get too old to a point where it's no return city and you're just so used to it, you accept it because you're lonely and you're afraid you're never going to find anyone else. Maybe you're aging, maybe you're over 50 and you're like, this is all the universe is going to give me. That's not true. And we need to recondition. I have a website called Attracting a Soulmate. And on Attracting a Soulmate, we do hypnosis with Steve Jones. We do a lot of manifestation work. We have biochronics and isochronics, which are subliminal messages that are downloaded into the brain to teach you how to get a better man or woman. And if you're in a relationship, it teaches you to get in balance with your mate, because a lot of times people are out of balance. So it's got meditation. It's got all these techniques on it. There's even a speech. Joe Vitale from The Secret is on it. And you go to attractingasoulmate.com, it'll change your frequency and your vibration. So you don't have to work so hard. Nobody wants to be in therapy for 30 years. Nobody has the time. They want a quick fix. Marissa Peer, one of my best friends, who's one of the biggest UK hypnotherapists, she moved to Venice recently. She was Princess Diana's therapist. She says, the brain only knows what's familiar. What we must do is do things that are unfamiliar to us to recondition us so that we don't keep repeating the past.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Forming new habits, which brings me to this question, which is perfect. I'm right into it as well. I know you're a big believer in manifestation, the power of what you think about, you bring about. Tell us how important manifestation is when it comes to finding love.
Okay. So we can't always manifest what we want in love, like you're placing an order to get, McDonald's. Okay, it doesn't work that way. God has the sprinkling of the universe. 20% is going to be the magic. So it breaks down to like it breaks down to about like 3/4 each. So basically what it is, it's like, yes, you made your list, but a lot of that list is not going to be on there. You might want a 6'2" guy, he comes in 5'11", but he's the perfect guy for you. So you have to have enough wiggle room in that department. The other thing is, what are you doing to meet people? You can't just put it on God and go, one day I'm going to open the door and there's going to be my Prince Charming, because you know what? The prince is dead. I told Cinderella this a long time ago. Okay. So you just basically got to go, well, once a week I go out. Now we're in quarantine. So maybe once a week I videotape online. Once a week I go to the beach and I take a walk. Once a week I join that surf club that teaches you how to surf. But you got to do a few things to meet people. Doesn't mean you might meet the guy. You might meet a girl who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. 6 degrees of that. So you got to do that. And the third part is you got to meditate and stay positive. So I'm a TMer. I do transcendental meditation, which clears my mind. And I do it twice a day for 20 minutes. There are great meditations online which clear the mind. You can do mindfulness. You can do yoga nidra. You could do chanting. You could just do yoga. Yoga centers you. And then when the mind is clear, I put suggestions in. So I put suggestions the first minute I wake up in the morning, because I'm relaxed. And we all want to go back to sleep the minute we wake up, right? We all want to go, oh. And instead of me going back to sleep, I kind of visualize, who do I want? What kind of relationship I'm looking for? Because now I've done the work. I know what I want. But I'm also, I have wiggle room with God. Okay? There's certain things I don't want, but I have wiggle room with God. And then when I go to sleep at night, I do a little protection spell on me at night, protect me from COVID, protect me that my house doesn't burn down, keep my neighborhood safe. I put white light around my whole neighborhood. I do like a little bit of stuff. And I also thank the universe, the unknowing angels, the unemployed angels, my guides, my masters, whoever I feel, my ancestors, my parents are dead now, so I thank them. And I ask them, can you bring in a great guy for me that would be my divine complement?
Beautiful.
Okay. Now, in the past, I've always picked men. So let's use me as an example. So my problem was cheap men. And my father was not cheap. So I was like, where did this come from? So when I was 11, Marissa took me back in hypnosis. When I was 11, my dad was an alcoholic and he was losing his money and he wanted to blame somebody. And he just screamed at me across the room, you made me lose all my money. And I was 11 and I downloaded it. And then every guy I kept meeting looked rich, looked expensive, but underneath had $2 to his name. And I realized, oh, I'm rescuing all those men like wounded birds in the road because my dad yelled at me and made me feel bad that I made him lose his money. And I believed him. Believe is everything. Belief is everything. Now, the more you doubt, if you say to me, Patti, I just don't believe manifestation. It's not going to work. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Affirmations don't work for me. Meditation doesn't work for me. I said, you know what? Keep doing it till it does. Keep doing it. Don't expect anything from it. Don't get mad that it didn't happen. Don't take score. Don't look at it and scream at it. Just say, you know what? I really enjoy meditating. I really enjoy fantasizing. I was really sick in January. I think I had COVID. We don't know. And the antibodies test hasn't been accurate here. So I haven't taken it yet, but I was sick for 3.5 weeks. I had come back from Miami and I was on death's door. And they said it's just the flu. They didn't know anything about COVID. And I laid in my bed for 3.5 weeks. I didn't eat anything but a cracker to take like medication like Advil. And I drank bone broth so the cows came in. And every day I said, I'm in perfect health. I'm in perfect health. And I wasn't. I was sick. Headache, fever, sinuses, chest, congestion. You wouldn't believe it. And I was sleeping the days away. My friend was staying with me. She left to go back home and she was so worried that I was going to die. And I'm in perfect health. And I called Marissa, keep saying, Patti, keep saying, I'm in perfect health. I'm in perfect. And I just would I would be in so much pain. Your body aches from it. So I would visualize me on the beach in a bikini, which is my favorite thing, in Hawaii, with the water. I could feel the water. I was with this amazing lover and we were making love and everything was great. And one day I woke up, fever broken, everything went away. 3.5 weeks later. And I said to my assistant, can I have a burger? I'm starving.
She's back. She's back.
So I programmed myself.
Yep.
A friend of mine, Carolyn DeMore, she's on Instagram. She was worried she had COVID because she was going back and her daughter was going back and forth between her ex. She took the test thinking, I don't have COVID. and she had COVID. So she basically said, I was so scared. The next day my throat started closing up. It's mind over matter. And all of a sudden I realized I don't have COVID. And the next day, and she tells the story, which is great. So the body can heal itself mentally and spiritually. We're all going through a mental problem right now. Mental health is everything. We're all sequestered, alone. We wonder if life's ever going to be normal again. Do we have things to look forward to? People are forgetting there's no graduations going on. People are missing their weddings, their anniversaries. They can't do anything right now. And I said, it's not going to be forever. It's probably going to be a year. Hunker down for a year, start fixing up your house, get into some hobbies, find things that make you happy, because this is the way it is. We all have shelter. We have electricity. We have Netflix. We have food. I mean, I was like, I lived through Hurricane Andrew in Florida, and we had no water. We had no electricity for weeks. And I said, this is not a hurricane. Like, this is not terrible.
Exactly.
Okay? We can get through this. We can get through this. So the mind needs to believe it. And the only way to believe it is through repetition till one day you forget about it and you believe it.
So just let me add on that, Patti, we're really big on, gratitude and journaling is to write a new story instead of repeating the old story, which is the old pattern. Do you do a lot of journaling, a lot of writing? Because that remodulates the brain and creates these new patterns. Do you write as well as meditate and pray, or, whatever words you want to use for that?
Whatever works for you, but it's reframing the story.
Yeah.
So I get criticized all the time that I'm single because I didn't get married to somebody I didn't think would be a right fit for marriage. And so I said, there were times I've cried my eyes out. I didn't get married. I didn't have kids. These are the only things I ever wanted in life. La, 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 la. And then when I was in quarantine, you have so much time with yourself. Mm-hmm. I realized that's because I'm reframing a new type of person. And there was a couple of people that were leaders in the news that I was looking at going, I could go for a guy like that. I could go for, and I never looked at guys like that before. I was always looking for the athletic 6'2" jock who's hot. And I just said, I'm so sick of that now. I want somebody interesting. I want somebody that is challenging and mentally stimulates me. Yeah. It's not all about looks. And I was like, who am I? And it was because when I was reframing my story, examples started to show up that, yes, you are changing. You probably, when you go out there and date and things are different and we're back to normal, that, I'm probably going to pick a different guy and it's probably going to shock the rest of America.
But what about this, Patti? What about, priorities? We lead our day depending on priorities. That's a story we tell ourselves. We wake up and we do what we believe is going to give us the most benefit. That's how humans work. So, if we make finding a partner a priority, would we, we could tailor our day.
I think when you put finding the partner priority is pressure. At least from my statistical studies have shown, when we've tried to create something, usually pick the wrong person. Because you feel like time is running out. I think it should be health should be your first priority.
Yep.
And love and something that fulfills you. So it doesn't have to be a business, it could be a hobby even. Yeah. So it has to be something that fulfills you, and love is kind of like 50-50 with that. But if you put love first to the point where all roads lead to love. And there are a lot of guys like this, guys who are really rich, who have nothing to do but focus on this. It becomes like they're doing a business deal.
I agree.
And they're not letting the universe kind of do its thing, because there is this magical thing to the universe, which love is undefinable. It is not like getting a job. Yes, it is true that when you get a boyfriend, the exes start calling and new guys you've never seen start showing up. That is true, because the pressure is off. You forgot about it. You're content. You have this person. It's no different than looking for a job when you already have a job and then 5 jobs show up, or the ones that you didn't give you the job come back. I think pressure is too strong on that, because you don't know what the results are going to be. You can't go on Tuesday, I'm going to go to this party, I'm going to meet a guy and he's going to be my husband. It doesn't work that way.
I was kind of meaning like priority as, once a week,
that's fine.
Where you could meet a guy, you can't, if you work.
You gotta make it as one of the things you do every week. If you don't. Now, here's the thing. If you're burned out from dating and you've done too much, you've gone too far, you've dated too much, you've gone to too many parties and nothing is working, it's time to take a dating detax. So in my book, Become Your Own Matchmaker, which you can get on Amazon, there is this chapter, which is called Dating Detox, to clean out your energy field so that we reboot it like a computer. Like the cache has to be cleaned out in the computer, right? And it's moving slow and it's causing problems and you've got viruses. You got to get all the viruses out. And that's the similar thing in your system, because you're energetically sending off this needy message that says, I'm in heat, come get me. I'm in heat, come get me. And I'm going, runs away from it. Instead, you want this gentle, soft, come on, guys, the water's fine. And everybody shows up, right?
Exactly.
So that's
well, I'd love to hear your thoughts then, because we talk about in Millionairess a lot about your self-worth equals your net worth equals your life worth. Would you say to women before they're like desperate to find a partner to focus on self-love, give themselves time, clean out the muck and the old stories?
Now is the time. Make your bathtub your spa. Make your yoga mat in front of your television set, in front of Amazon. Okay, now is the time to clean your house of all the clutter. I'm a big feng shuier. I would make if you sleep on the left side of the bed like I do, you make the right side for the man, and you put the little men's stuff on the side and the drawers. You keep your closet one side clear, waiting for him to show up. You make sure that there's corners in the bagua. You can go online and Google the bagua of feng shui, and it'll say how to position it in front of your room to put lots of stuff in the love corner, whether it's a plant, whether it's gold coins and 2 frogs, whatever the cure is, and draw that energy to. So if you live in a pink house with pink fluffies everywhere, the man ain't coming. I had to tell this to one of the girls, Plumpty Dumpty on our show. I said, this is crazy. She was a Hello Kitty crazy fan. And that's great for Hello Kitty, but we need some masculine energy for the man to be drawn, because the yin and the yang must bond equally, not one or the other. So that's why. And I think it's a time now to set the tone for you. What makes you happy? If I ask 10 girls, what do you want in a man? They don't know. I just want somebody that successful, and I don't know. And I'm going, okay, you have no idea who you are. So make a time to learn what makes you happy. What makes you laugh? What do you like to eat? What do you like to do? What do you like to read? What television shows do you like to watch? And start realizing who you are.
Fabulous advice. So Patti, on to another little road here. Not only were you the creator and star of your hugely successful series, $1 Million Matchmaker, but you're now an executive producer of 2 movies. Is that correct? Would you love to share that experience with us? Tell us about that.
Well, Hallmark was so gracious to me. Do you get Hallmark in Australia?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Hallmark is my favorite channel, because when you get depressed and you're upset about love, and if people think you only watch Hallmark at Christmas, that isn't true. Hallmark is a 365 love channel. So if you get depressed and you're unhappy and you crying your eyes out, cry to tears, turn on Hallmark and watch all the movies. All the movies are the same. Girl is single, wants guy, can't get guy, then gets guy. So think about that. So they have a mystery channel. And Danica McKellar wanted to do a mystery series, and I pitched them an idea called Matchmaker Mysteries, which is basically Danica plays a matchmaker like me, a television matchmaker, and Victor Webster is the cop on the beat. The first person that gets murdered is one of her clients. They solve the crime together, and now they're this kind of duo, where they heart-to-heart kind of duo where they solve crimes. And it's really cute. We had our second movie 2 weeks ago with huge ratings, and now we're about to shoot our third. We were about to shoot our third, but Corona, so we don't know when we're going to shoot. I also sold them another movie called Love by the Book, which is a romantic comedy too that should maybe be out next year. But anyway, it's a great channel for you to lift your spirits. It's like natural serotonin, because when we get depressed, our hormones go out of whack. Especially if it's your time of the month, or you're in menopause, and you're just, my hormones, I couldn't sleep. I was wondering if my progesterone is off. We're in a crazy time, and our body doesn't understand what's happening to us. So you get depressed and you think love has eluded you. And as my mother says, love could be whether you're 18 or 80. It doesn't matter. God will make sure you have the love you need when the time's right with the right person. So Hallmark's a great place to start.
It sounds fantastic. I'm going to go and check out all the shows. It sounds and I can tell by the way you're talking about it that you really love it. It's something that obviously is fulfilling for you.
Well, I wanted to produce TV forever. I went to film school. So now this was my first foray into scripted. And now I'm going to hopefully do other stuff with other channels like Netflix and, Amazon. I'd love to work with them. I'd love to do a story on my life. So that would be another great thing, which I have an idea to do. And take the book, make the book Become Your Matchmaker a series, because it's 8 steps on how to get married in 1 year. So it's like the how to lose a guy in 8 dates. It's how to get a guy in 8 dates,
That sounds fantastic. That'll be super, super popular. So many entrepreneurial women reading this magazine, watching this interview, they're sitting there and they're thinking, oh, I don't have the self-confidence that Patti has, and I don't have the success that Patti has, and wow, she's famous.
Oh,
I would really love some of that success. What advice would you give to an entrepreneurial woman sitting at home thinking, I want it, but I don't really believe in myself just as much as I should?
I didn't have confidence. I had confidence to know that I had to financially take care of myself, and I was going to do anything to take care of myself. No one was ever going to cross the street. I had a boyfriend once who said, we were talking about money, and I said something, are you going to help this person financially? And he said, is he a ward of my estate? No, I come first. Like, he was like, it wasn't a nasty thing. He was just basically saying that I basically create my own destiny. You know what I mean? And that's where you have to say, I have confidence enough. Now, are you going to get beaten down? Sure. I've lost 1 million deals. It took me a very long time to get a TV show in my mind. Some people say it was short, but I came in at the right time, but I had been trying for years, and I got close. I was with ABC under contract. I was with Simon Cowell at one point, and Ryan Seacrest. There was a lot of stuff that I had to go through. Lots of up and down, lots of disappointment. Get used to disappointment. But every time you get disappointed, you got to pick yourself up and say, screw them. I know what's best for me, and I know that I can do this. And you got to make other people believe in your product and what you're selling, because you believe in it doesn't mean they're going to believe in it. Refine your pitch. Know your competitors. Know why you're better than them. Research is everything. When you know your research, like, you could call me right now and I could talk about dating till the cows come home, and there's nothing that I don't probably know. Maybe there's a smidgen, okay? And if I don't know that, I'm willing to learn. Make sure you're open to learning, because somebody always knows more than you. But in the end of the story, I'm confident enough that I could go on CNN right now and talk about what I know. Like, yes. I'm an expert, right? So the key is, you must be an expert of something, an authority, for people to believe in you, to want to buy your product. If you're an expert in skincare, if you're an expert in beauty, you're an expert in health, you must be an expert for them to understand you. And always spend time reading. I read the news feed every morning and every night before I go to bed. I read articles on the things that I'm interested in, and I keep up. You know your statistics, know who you are, especially if you want to get in the media. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you. And don't make up fake news, because you'll be found out. You'll be found out in 2 seconds. Every time there's fake news, we're like, that's not real.
Yeah. And people know. People have got their BS detectors on.
The truth is the one thing that I tell my staff and my clients. The truth is the most important point to start at, because anything can go up from the truth. But if you lie, you lie about your product, you lie about who you are, you lie, it gets the button. Now, that's not saying you're an actor and you're saying, oh yeah, I could ride a horse, and you can't, because you'll learn on the set. That's a different story, because we all white lie. But when it comes to something big, you're trying to hide a secret, you're going to get screwed.
Exactly. And you'll always get found out. And on that, do you surround yourself with mentors? And what would you say to women to follow mentors who have results that they're looking for?
All right. So there's a lot of mentors I have, but my favorite is Oprah. I was an Oprah fan and it was funny because I manifested her. And this is a cute story. I was in Australia and I was on vacation for 2 weeks in Sydney. And I had just bought t-shirts saying, Oprah, call me. I was doing a manifesting thing, and I bought these sparkle t-shirts, and I was going to wear them on the show. And it was probably season 3 or 4. And all of a sudden, I get a call on Sunday, Oprah wants you in Chicago on Monday. I had to fly home from Australia and go straight to Chicago. True story. And then I found out I wasn't going to meet Oprah. I ended up with Nate, doing something with Nate, and I was depressed. And then Oprah said, she wants you back on the couch on Thursday. And Bravo said no. I was filming. I said no. I said, you're saying no to Oprah. And they're like, she's going to announce that she has a TV show the next day. We don't really want you involved. I cried my eyes out. I thought I was going to be blacklisted from Oprah. Oprah says, Patti, I got you. Don't worry. I got a way to figure this out. It's going to be fabulous. And she says, there's only one person that has done this that I'm going to let you do. and it was Celine Dion. And she says, I'm sending a crew to your house and we're going to Skype you. It was when Skype just came out, and she Skyped me. I love her metaphysical. I love her cooking. I love her organizing. I love how she had no fear of putting Marianne Williamson on, you know, and John Gray and Thomas More and all the metaphysicians, The Secret, Rhonda, and all those people. She had no fear. Even though she's wanted to do a full service spiritual channel, it just didn't work. She does Super Soul Sunday. So she's my favorite. So you can pick a mentor that you don't know personally.
Yes.
Now, my personal mentor is Marissa Peer. Marissa's really changed my life in a lot of ways. She's my hypnotherapist. She is my friend, and she's older than me. You can look her up on YouTube. She's with Mind Valley. She's amazing. She really changed my thinking process. You know, I spent 2 years off when I left Bravo, which was my own volition because I needed time off. I spent 2 years and I went on a spiritual journey. I broke up with my boyfriend. I was in a really bad place, and I went to John of God, and I went to Amma, and I went to study with the Buddhist monks in Hong Kong. I've studied with like a lot of the great spiritual people, and I've been doing it since I began. I know Abraham since 1989. You know, Esther and Jerry. Yep. And I really found this place in me that realized the answers aren't with other people. The answers are with you. So all a mentor should do is mentor you, okay, but not take over you. In other words, you take what you need. Like Pat Allen was on my show. She was one of my mentors. And I didn't believe in everything she said. I didn't believe in the eight-week rule. And we used to buck heads about the 8-week rule, which is in 8 weeks, a guy's not gone unless it's 8 weeks. And I said, I don't agree. They can come back in 6 months. It doesn't mean you want them. So we had that thing, but all the other stuff I believed in. And so you can redefine and still respect your mentor without having to put them down. The other thing is there are different kinds of mentors. There's business mentors, spiritual mentors, you know. If you're Tony Robbins person, you're a Tony Robbins person. If you're, you know, Sheryl Sandberg, lean in, you're a lean in person. Like everybody's like, you're Michelle Obama. Like you don't have to know them for them to like open your mind up. You just got to read, watch, listen. Read, watch, listen. Those are my 3 things.
Yep, and that is such sound advice and exactly what we say. You know, nobody gets to the top of their success mountain alone. And for me, it started with one book and then investing, and, you know, just keep moving along because I think, you know, our own fears and our self-doubts is the biggest hurdle in life, in love, in business, in everything. And it's just so good to be able to lean in.
But I want to say one quick thing. So I'm friends with Dr. Phil. So he once said to me, if you want to be successful, you must look at the person who already made it. So if you want to be a swimmer, right, you're going to look at all the greats, right? And then you're going to kind of model them. But don't judge them on their personal life. Don't, like, unless they did something unethical, illegal, or immoral. They stole, they killed, they hurt someone. I don't really look at it like that. So what I look at is, if Warren Buffett is the king of the stock market, well, he must be doing something right. Like today, he made a mistake a couple of weeks ago, and he said, look, I made a mistake. I thought the quarantine was going to be over. I've got to they had to take all their money out of the airlines because the airlines are down. So he said, I made a mistake with the airline stock. They will make mistakes. They are still human. When Oprah had, I forget what the name of the book was. It was the book about the drug addict, and the guy made it up. Remember, The Guy Made It Up is a famous book. The guy made it up. Oprah brought him on, made him the biggest thing since sliced bread, and then he lied and said it was all made up story. She brought him back on. She told him off, and she said, listen, I can't believe you humiliated me. But she owned it. I made a mistake in you. So don't look at them as icons where you're going to be in this place where you're going to get disappointed if you find out about their relationships in love or their situation with their child, or maybe they have substance abuse or something they did that is not in alignment with you. Because if you do that, nobody will ever live up to your bar. And once you meet them in person, you're going to be like, he's a dick. You know, because everybody says when you meet your heroes, they turn out to be awful in person. But it's just take the nugget and walk away.
Yeah.
Don't put it all in one basket. I don't do that with anybody.
That is golden.
I've met a lot of famous people, and I'm like, well, that person was what I thought they were. You know, that the kind of thing. But they're really good at X. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it takes it, you know, it's that pressure you put on it, on the expectation of the other person being everything in your fantasy. So that is really, really golden advice there, Patti. Patti, I've got one last question for you. What would you love to be known and remembered for?
Oh God, what a question. You're killing me right now.
Come
I
on.
would want to be remembered for as the woman that helped the world find love.
It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. The world that I was on the front line. Like, I'm in service to God. Like, it's not religious God. It's my God of what I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe it's a calling, matchmaking. And we were here on the planet to raise the frequency of love and help others find love, because if everybody was in love, there'd be no wars. And I believe that people would be different towards one another. There'd be mere humanity. People wouldn't be struggling and, really not surviving in life. The world would be different, we wouldn't be suffering. Also, I think that it's really important to know that, when you're in service to something of a higher being, like you're helping business people. So when you're in service and you're trying to spread the word and the gospel and you're trying to help others, you get put up to a different scrutiny than others.
Yeah.
And so you kind of are looked under the microscope. And there's a lot of things that I may not have manifested, but that didn't mean that I didn't help others get married and fall in love and have children. And, I did what I came here to do, is what I'm saying. So it's a calling, matchmaking, It's not like you choose on a Tuesday to be a matchmaker. You really have to have, it's a 24-hour, 7-day job, and you're always on call. It's like being a doctor. So it's a calling, and it's a higher calling. And I think that I'd want to be known as the woman to help people find love. And that didn't mean that they didn't find love with a date. They could be in a relationship and find the love they lost between two people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Patti, I think that is a reality, and we love you down in Australia. I'm sure the world loves the work that you do. You're an
and any millionaires that wants to join or millionaire can go to millionairesclub123.com, log on. You can go there and send me a message, and we can look at your situation. Yeah.
Is that the best place for people to find out more about you? Any other places that you'd love our visitors to go?
Instagram. DM me at Instagram.
Yep.
Patti with an I. Yeah. DM me at Instagram, and I'm always helping everyone on the DMs. The DMs have been filling up like, whoa, it's crazy. I answer my own DMs, so it's a little nuts. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I've got a feeling that you and I will have another conversation again, and I can't wait to catch up with you. So appreciate you being part of the movement for Millionairess, gracing the cover. You're an integral part of.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, have a great day. Bye down under. Put a shrimp on the Barbie for me.
G'day, LA. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.